Glory to Jesus Christ. Hello, I'm Father Thomas Loya. When our hearts are filled with the love of God and we see everything through that love, even tragedy and sorrow can be turned to gift, and only through God's love. Please help us to spread that message of love. Support Shalom World TV. No gift is too small, no gift is too large.
The church, in my eyes, is a hospital for broken people, broken souls, broken parts of their lives. And in this hospital, we have this blessed sacrament. To me, is an operating room. It's a surgery room in the hospital. At first, it was very difficult when I would go into the chapel of the Blessed Sacrament. I'd be very impatient, wondering, okay, I've been here 5 minutes, and my intuition was I need to go back to work. I need to go back to this, or I need to go back to that. Until I finally started to look a little bit more in depth into what I was doing, or what my spirit was calling me towards to do. Jesus gave us this gift of His body and His blood in this form of the Eucharist, which is reserved in this tabernacle, where He waits for us. Our Father waits for us, and He's available all the time. He has nowhere to run. He is there for us whenever we need Him. I went through a trying time in my life where we had separated with my wife. The love of money, the passions, the sinfulness, the worldly allurements drew me out into the wilderness. And after having fallen down on my face and gotten up again, I came back to the church. I came back to this hospital for me, a sinner. And going back to my conversion, in spending time, I would see myself not 5 minutes in running, 10 minutes in running, but I'd be running towards the Blessed Sacrament and sitting for hours. And my busyness of my mind, the busyness of my anxieties would slowly start to diminish. Everything would be calm. Everything would be at peace. Looking at adoration, the Eucharistic adoration, and learning that it was a form of prayer. It was quite an interesting form of prayer where I would sit there and I'd listen and I'd learn. Jesus would be talking to me in that silence. And when I'd walk into the Blessed Sacrament, into the chapel of the Blessed Sacrament, all that fear, all that anxiety, all those burdens and those restless nights would just simply melt away like wax. And what would open up would be purity, peacefulness, serenity, and love. You know, after reconciling with my wife after a 9-month separation, we both started to get back into our faith, into the church. And we started to reconcile, and that was a rough, bumpy road. Imagine, you know, your husband leaves you and goes running off with another lady, and you don't see him for 9 months, and then calls you one day out of the blue and wants to talk. What would you do? You know, and I'm glad that the grace of the Holy Spirit, you know, gave my wife this gift of forgiveness, this second chance in my life, you know, and going back home and reconciling with Rose and the kids. If it wasn't for the adoration, the Eucharistic adoration, that guidance, that life to our souls, that listening to the silence where the Lord speaks to us, if it wasn't for that, I don't know where I'd be right now. And I was meditating, sitting before the Blessed Sacrament, just meditating and looking at Him. And He was looking at me. And he said to me, why don't you come in? The door's open to this tabernacle. Come in. And that way we can close the door behind us, and us too, we can be alone in this little space, in this little home that I've reserved for you and me. And that's what I've done ever since. I look at that tabernacle and I don't see that door closed, because there's nothing that can close the love of God for us. He speaks in the silence of our heart. There is a light that shines before the Blessed Sacrament. But we need to open the eyes of our heart, and we need to follow the way of that light. Open the eyes of your soul. Open the eyes of your heart through prayer, and let the Lord come in. If you want to get to the root of your problem in your life, there's one true counselor, there's one shepherd, and there's one lifeline to a long, peaceful, healthy life. And that's listening to Him, sitting before Him in the Eucharistic adoration. And you will see your life too will transform itself. Jesus wants us to be happy. And being happy is not following the passions of the world, but it's following the truth, the light, and the way. And that you'll find before the Eucharistic adoration.
I'm very happy to present my greetings to Shalom Ministry and all the good work that you do around the world in fulfilling the dream of the Holy Father that all should hear the love of God. Thank you for your good work and those who support you. May these special days of new evangelization bless your operators, your administrators, and your benefactors. God bless you.
Shalom World, God's own channel.